This week, Kathy and I are on vacation in Ottawa, which is our nation's capital. And behind me, you can see the Parliament buildings for the House of Commons for the Canadian government. And so this week, I thought we would talk about Christians' relationship to government. Now, as I recall, in the Bible, there are at least 3 places where the Bible talks about our relationship to government. And the first was when Jesus said, "Give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar." So clearly, Jesus was in favor of paying taxes. Now, he had a very unusual way of paying his taxes because he got the tax money out of the mouth of a fish, which is fairly unconventional. But clearly, it is God's will that we pay taxes. So it is not God's will for you to evade taxes through any illegal means. And the second is when Paul told Timothy in 1 Timothy chapter 2 to pray for your leaders, which was an amazing thing to pray at that time, because the leaders, or Christians, were being killed at that time by the leaders. And Paul still said, pray for them. And so let's talk then about praying for our leaders. Now, when most people think about their government leaders, we just complain. We're always criticizing them and finding fault with them, and they're always messing up in some way that we speak about. But you realize how hard it is to be a politician? In my view, they are the most abused profession that exists. They're always being criticized. And so they're just constantly under this sense of public eye and criticism. And look how difficult their job is. They are constantly having to balance competing interests in making laws. So that means there's always winners, there's always losers, there's always going to be people who don't like them. That's a very difficult job. So we need to pray for them. And in North America, we have general elections coming up. In Canada, in just a few months, the Americans do it next year. And so how should we be praying? Here's what I would suggest. We need to pray that God would raise up Josephs and Daniels into our national government, because both of those men had a close relationship with their kings, with the pharaohs, with their leaders. They were godly, righteous men who had enormous influence on their country's leaders. We need those kinds of people. So instead of complaining about leaders, let's pray that God would raise up Josephs and Daniels. And if this is your first visit here, you need to get my free self-assessment guide. And to do that, just subscribe to my weekly email newsletter, and you know where the subscription form is. It's always right there over my shoulder. But this week, I'll talk to you again next week, but this week I want you to pray for your leaders. Stop criticizing them.